It takes an average of 15 years to grow an orange tree. And in order for a tree to bear fruit, it needs strong roots. Today, more than 350,000 babies will be born. That's about 4 kids for every second. Every single person in the world started this way. And similar to the tree, some children have strong roots, some are weak, and some had their roots displaced over time. They didn't get to choose where or when they were born. These are the things that we just don't have control over. There are homeless, refugees, immigrant families, and many less fortunate individuals seeking services in our underserved community, who can sometimes feel like they've never had a home in the first place. And now, more than ever, they need your support. And because they're here, they matter. This is Safatullah. He came to the US with his wife Spozme just under a year ago, and they're just barely settling in. Safatullah is a security guard and he works graveyard shifts, and Spozme takes care of their home. They live in a cozy apartment in Orange County, California. Spozme is making tea because they were expecting us for the interview. My name is Ziad, and I'm an employee at AccessCal Services. Great.
Good, yeah, it's good. Now I'm adjusted.
I was greeted by Safatullah outside of his new apartment in Orange County, and he told me that he just moved into this campus about a week ago. I was so happy to hear that. He also told me that before he came to the US, he was a teacher in Afghanistan. Oh, cool. So like a high school. After getting acquainted, I explained to him that we'll be conducting an interview with him and his wife. And then he showed me inside. We walked into a small but really warm and average cozy apartment. As we got settled on the couch, my coworker Wedi arrived. Wedi works for the mental health department. He and Safatullah were already really well acquainted.
Thank you. How are you doing? Good. Thanks for coming. Thank you for having us.
You're welcome.
I heard you work Safatullah and his wife were really hospitable. Spozme made authentic tea from Afghanistan. Wedi and I felt like we were getting a real cultural experience. So what part of Afghanistan are you from? We're from Farah, Afghanistan, located on the Farah River and close to the border of Iran. And it's one of the largest cities in western Afghanistan. What languages do they speak there? The majority living there speak Pashto, but also Farsi and Dari are spoken. And you guys speak how many languages?
3 languages, like Dari, Pashto, English. Now we can speak English.
Very nice. Yeah. And what was something that you really enjoyed doing as a child? The sweetest part of my childhood was hanging out with my friends growing up. It was very difficult to learn English there, but I remember trying really hard to learn it as best as I could. My dad was a teacher and I really enjoyed learning. I liked chemistry and music. So how was your life back home? Life back home was very difficult and rough. There was violence and a lot of instability. We made a decision to come to the US on a special immigration visa. But there was also the fear of coming to the US in the beginning. Not speaking the language, finding a job, finances, lack of guidance. These were all things that we were thinking about. But we were lucky to get the visa and we're very grateful for that. How did you find out about AccessCal? And why did you come? We heard about AccessCal through social services. We were also directed through our friends and community members that we met. They all recommended AccessCal Services, so we figured, hey, let's give it a try. What was one experience that made you really happy at AccessCal? The way I got my job was kind of like a deja vu moment. It was the best thing that I enjoyed. Being able to find a job for myself and be self-sustainable is so gratifying. I was able to find a job using AccessCal's work employment services. They set up mock interviews for me, taught me about posture, body language, speech, and they asked me questions, and I answered. 2 days after the mock interview, the security company that I interviewed for asked me the same questions in the mock interview. I was very lucky, and I got the job. I thank Access California Services for helping me in my time of need. I'm really grateful for their services, and this moment made me really happy. Thank you, Access.
Are you struggling with anything right now?
At the moment, everything is good. I got a job thanks to AccessCal, and we were donated a car for transportation via AccessCal support network. We also use their ESL to learn English, and sometimes we use their mental health services. We're taking life one day at a time, but if there's ever a problem, we always go to AccessCal first. After the interview, we asked Safatullah to give us a tour of his home.
One of the most nicest thing here, part being in the bedroom, is that what we noticed is there's a sofa here in this section, and then he's got his laptop, he's got his printer. Basically, he spends roughly 2 to 3 hours daily doing his homework, research, any news articles that he have to work on. Again, we have to make sure to know that he was also a professor back in Afghanistan, so he's constantly educating himself here in the States. But this is very nice, actually. Very much like it. This is a beautiful way of kind of having his own office space in the bedroom. Very nice. Very good. Very good.
Shortly after the interview, Safatullah showed us something that he brought from home. He uses it to de-stress after a long day of work. Safatullah and Spozman's story really touched our hearts. But there are some people that you can really build a connection with. This next story is about a single mother with 3 children. This is Zainab. We caught her right when she got home from work. She just recently received her U.S. citizenship after 5 long years. She works many jobs, but she was coming from the daycare center that she works at. She got the job using her daycare licensing certificate that she received from AccessCal. This is my other coworker, Suzanne. She works directly with clients and also manages the work done by our case managers. Most of her clients are from that area, but AccessCal provides services to all the underserved populations in Southern California. As we walked to her apartment, Zainab and Suzanne were catching up. They were very close. We told her about the interview, and then she showed us into her house. We walked into a well-decorated and cozy apartment. It had a lot of interesting features, like a staircase and little trinkets and antiques from Iraq.
Looks delicious.
And of course, like most cultures, in Iraq, they also serve coffee and tea.
Wow. Oh, can't wait to try it.
And I was drinking the tea. I remembered a book I read by Greg Mortensen. It was called 3 Cups of Tea.
Very good.
I couldn't help but realize how some cultures can be very similar. The specific tea was steeped with cardamom and Earl Grey tea leaves.
How are you doing today?
Good, I'm fine.
After getting settled
My name
in,
is
we
Ziad,
didn't waste any
and
time.
You probably already know her.
We went straight to the interview because we had a lot to cover.
And what's your name?
My name is Zainab.
Zainab. Very nice to meet you.
Thank you.
What was your life back home, and what was the last thing you remember?
My last memory was saying goodbye to my friends and family members. It was really hard leaving them behind, but because of the war and violence, I needed to get out of my country. It was very difficult, but I had to leave.
What was your home like?
It was very nice. My family was there, but my home was destroyed in the war. And that's the past. But now I'm just looking forward to the future. The way I think about it now is I'm starting a new life, new journey, because the war didn't leave anything for my family and I.
What was something that made you feel like that was it, and you needed to go home? You needed to pack your things and just leave the country. And how did that make you feel?
The first thing I remember was thinking about my children and the safety and the future of their lives. I was working hard there and I was at least trying to make ends meet, but it was so difficult.
أولادي كبروا وما شافوا أبوهم لأن أبوهم سافر.
My ex-husband at the time left to Lebanon and he couldn't come back for this safety. I wanted my children to see their father because they grew up without him, and it was very hard for me as a mother to see that. We first left Lebanon, and from Lebanon, we applied for a special immigration visa to America.
Did you leave anything behind? Do you have family there?
أهلي كلهم هناك. إخواني، أبويا.
My whole family's there. My parents, friends, uncles, relatives. I wish they were all here today. But it's hard, and I know that.
Do you talk to them?
Yeah, every day.
Every day?
Yeah, every day.
Facebook, Skype?
Yeah, every day.
Okay.
بس مو مثل ما أنت تقعد.
But it's not the same. You know, being close to family and talking on the phone is very different. I'm very grateful for the technology, but it's just not the same, and I miss them all very much.
How old are your kids?
I have 3 kids, and the oldest is 15 years old, the second oldest is 14, and the youngest is 9 years old. When we came to America, Mustafa was only 7 months old, so he doesn't remember anything from his home country. Mustafa's my youngest.
So how was it like when you first got to the US?
Anyone coming to a new country or place knows it's going to be difficult for them. I tried looking for people like me with the same language. I felt like I needed to fit in somehow. I asked around the community to see who can help me with my struggles, so they told me about Access California services. They told me that they could help me out and apply for different services that I'm eligible for. The wonderful thing about AccessCal was that they provide wraparound services. They had everything that I needed. The first thing I started with is education. I started with English and then moved on to different services like learning how to use the bus, how to pay the bills, taking my kids to school, and learning how to apply for them to go to school. I learned about the culture because it's very different than Iraq. They really took care of my family and I. Because of AccessCal, we learned how things work in America. And most importantly, how to take care of my family and their future.
فقالوا لي في مكان اسمه Access California.
We thank everyone at AccessCal, their supporters, and everyone who helped AccessCal grow, because without them, I don't know where I would be right now.
والله أنا أول ما جيت ضليت 3
When I first came to the US, I was afraid of going outside for about 3 months. I was scared to go outside and not know how to come back to my home. I remember my neighbor who told me about AccessCal. She asked me, "Why are you sitting at home?" And I told her, "I'm afraid to leave my house. I'm afraid to leave and get lost somewhere." She told me she was the same as me when she first came to the US. Then she told me that she knows someone who can help me. And that was AccessCal. I was struggling so much. It was so hard. AccessCal was like my mother, friend, sister, family. I remember the things that I went through. And I get very sad.
يعني أزعل. فكانوا يهونون علي اللي بأكسس. يقولوا لي ما تخافي احنا وياك.
Then I go to AccessCal and they tell me, "Don't be afraid. We are with you and we'll help." These are the things that I remember. They helped me with my children. They helped me with my bills. One time my electricity went out and I didn't have enough money to pay for the bill. And they helped me. I took classes. And when I had a divorce with my husband, it got even harder. I didn't know what to do. Their programs taught me how to cope. More importantly, how to deal with life's greatest difficulties. And I'm so grateful for that.
How's your life right now? Like, are you struggling with anything?
والله هي موجودة الصعوبات. بس إن شاء الله
Yes, of course.
يعني نكون إحنا أقوى.
Everyone is always struggling. But thank God, I have 3 children, and they're growing up so fast.
عندي 3 أولاد.
But when I first came, it was very difficult. I didn't have a job. I had help from the government, but it wasn't enough. I worked many jobs to provide for my family, and I still do.
كانت شوية صعبة علي.
But I still say to this day, God helped me the most.
جيت بس أدرس.
God sent me AccessCal to help me, and I'm always grateful for the work they do. Stories like the ones you just saw are the reasons why we're so passionate about the work that we do at AccessCal. As a person thinking about kids of my own in the near future, I want them to grow up in a better community and world than I did. And we see a way to get there. It has become my job. It has become our job. Who are you to make someone's life better? We're here to tell you, who are you not to? There was a study conducted from UC Berkeley by S. Leonard Time. This study has showed that up to 50% of our health comes from having a sense of control. Here's a little clip from the interview with the professor.
As long as we keep focusing on helping people one at a time, admirable and important as that is, it doesn't really address the fundamental forces in our society that are causing the problem in the first place. I remember working as a smoking counselor. I used to get a guy to quit smoking and driving home that evening think there were probably 2 children in a schoolyard somewhere who were starting smoking that very day. At some point, you have to begin to think about the fundamental forces in society that are causing the problem.
Now, sad and heartbreaking it is to hear, there are about 25 million refugees in this world, and more than half are children. How many of those individuals and families ever felt like they had a sense of control in their life and environment? Think about it. In the year of 2013, the state of California alone received over 6,689 refugees. In 2014, we received 8,574 refugees statewide. 2015, 7,718 refugees. 2016, 11,918 living souls seeking asylum. 2017, 12,058. Due to the new policies set in place for immigrants and refugees, in 2018, that number dropped dramatically to 2,641. Even though the number last year was low, that doesn't mean our work here is done. It's just the beginning. It takes 5 years until an asylee can be eligible for citizenship. In the meantime, who's going to support them? Access California Services is a culturally sensitive community-based organization dedicated to empowering all underserved populations, with a focus on Arab American and Muslim American communities. We strive to enhance the quality of life and foster self-determination through direct health and human services. Our vision is a world in which each individual leads a dignified and enriched life. We provide services that help break down the barriers that our underserved population goes through on a daily basis. We provide financial assistance, case management and advocacy in 16 different languages, healthcare access services, employment and tax services, counseling, therapy and support services, education services, citizenship and immigration services, community services and civic engagement, and refugee services. Immigrants and refugees are not the only ones facing barriers in our community. Our homeless population is at a record high since 2013, and the less fortunate are asking for more services that we provide. Let's break it down. The number of homeless people in Orange County has increased since 2013 to an estimated total of 4,792. Let's put that in perspective. 1 out of 6 children live in poverty, and at Access California Services, we're helping alleviate that. But the problem is, services provided to refugees, immigrants, and homeless in our community are dwindling. Not only that, government support is at a decade low, bringing devastating cuts to our program budgets. Refugee and immigrant families are being separated from their loved ones and are living in fear of losing vital services. By contributing today, you can help us reach our goal of $250,000. By doing that, you can
help prevent hunger and homelessness among local families,
assist refugee families to acculturate in their new homes and communities,
empower women to acquire new job skills and reach economic self-sufficiency,
alleviate the trauma experienced by domestic violence victims and expand access to healthcare for uninsured individuals,
help enrich more lives and donate today.
Help enrich more lives. Donate today.
Help enrich more lives. Donate today.
Help enrich more lives. Donate today.
Join us and help enrich more lives.
Donate today!